Today, I'll be talking about a newer superhero show that's been getting a lot of buzz lately. Not Marvel or DC, but something fresh. Today, I'll be talking about This review will contain spoilers for Invincible Season 1. You have been warned. Now, you probably saw the title of this video and think that I don't like Invincible. I do, I just think it's mildly overhyped for what it is. Although, it is definitely refreshing to have another new superhero show that's not in the main two superhero continuities, Marvel and DC. I think it's amazing that third-party companies like Image Comics are having the opportunity to have their characters and stories realized on the silver screen. But the story they tell, although it's good, it is very, very predictable. Maybe I'm desensitized to the whole superhero genre as a whole, but they could have done a lot more in order to throw the audience off. The main Voltramite twist was clear by the third episode. Although you could argue that that is part of the show, and that knowing the Voltramite twist is coming is part of the suspense. But anyways, the only thing that ever kept me guessing was the subplot with Robot and the Mauler twins, which isn't a bad thing. Shows don't require a plot twist in order to be compelling, but the fact that Invincible presented the whole final episode as a big gotcha moment felt unearned. Another thing about the show that's kind of iffy for me is how it's treated visually. The art style is simple and nothing new, but when they cut corners, they really cut corners. Yet, it's all done in order to make other things look much better. For example, the fight scenes for the most part are smooth and seamless, which leads to them feeling like they actually have an impact on our characters. Which is important because Mark gets beaten into a pulp like every episode. He's not really good at fighting. But things not looking quite perfect is understandable. I mean, it's not like Invincible has a Marvel show budget or anything. Yeah, cutting corners in order to save money on animation? Marvel would never. But that's neither here nor there. Now let's talk about one area in the show where it actually shines, and that is of course the voice cast. I mean, just look at this. I mean, J.K. Simmons is obviously the standout, but he's always been brilliant in any role he's given, live action or animated, and Omni-Man just seems like a perfect role for him.
Your stubbornness against the inevitable killed those people. How many more need to die, Mark?
You also have the king, Mark Hammil himself, voicing Art, the man who designs the costumes for heroes, and as soon as I heard his voice, I smiled like an idiot. I love Mark Hamill. He's Luke Skywalker, he's Firelord Ozai, he's the Joker. So good. And finally, the amazing Steven Yeun. He was one of the few names I didn't recognize. He voiced Mark Grayson, and I think I can speak for everybody when I say he did a flawless job. I can't wait to hear more from him in the future. Which brings me to the future of the show. Now, I'm not too well versed in Image Comics, so I'm not quite sure what happens next, but it's obvious there's much more to come. I like to think that we're just getting started, and that Invincible is going to be one of those shows that just keeps getting better as it goes on, and the newfound popularity will definitely help next season's budget. Overall, I rate Invincible a 5 out of 7. It is at its best when it's just a security guard talking to his friend about his stepkid and how far he's come as a father. Yet, the complex emotional relationship between Mark and his girlfriend and the over-the-top action and violence is definitely appreciated. I love Invincible, and I'm eagerly awaiting Season 2. Did you really think this was going to be some hot take hate video? Think guys, it's me. I go crazy for this stuff, and I do love the memes. I think they're great.